record it and then also send you the audio file. So you have the lesson
Yeah,
in
got
front of
tantra.
you. Yes. So people talk a lot about yoga, practice of asana, pranayama, demonstration. You have seen a lot of people demonstrating. Lot of postures. Some people say practice 20 postures, asanas. It is beginning. Then advance is another 50 postures. So we should understand one is popular notion of yoga, popular notion. And the other is the real notion of yoga. So am I the only one to talk about the real notion? No. How do we know the real notion of yoga? From the teachings of our great masters. If you study, say for example, if you study physics and the teacher starts teaching that forget about Newton, Archimedes, they are great physicists. They discover Einstein. Forget about all of them. I will teach you something totally new in physics. That is not valid. That will become a fake science, fake physics. Similarly, if as a teacher I do not teach what has already been taught by our great masters, which I say the tradition, and that tradition I say is Eastern wisdom. That Eastern wisdom is more than 6,000 years old. Some people say it is 10,000, older than that. And we have more than 3,000 teachers. You may also note down that there is a master by the name Vasishtha, and the text is known as Yoga Vasishtha, which is the oldest text of yoga. Nobody mentions about it. So you see that what we are trying to understand, the real notion and the popular notion of yoga. So real notion of yoga, as a teacher, I must teach from the knowledge that is already available, given by the great masters. Vasishtha, Krishna, Shiva, Patanjali, Dattatreya, they are the great masters who discovered these principles of yoga. Now, what is the main subject of yoga? According to the popular notion, compare it. What is popular notion? Just do 5, 10, 20 postures, demonstrate, and uh, and stretch and sweat. That is popular notion. And what is the real notion? Real notion says that we should become a good person. Are you a good person?
I think
We will we will understand that what is being a good person. First thing to understand, to be a good person is for others. You come to me, I come to you, and I start talking about it, that I'm such a good person, I'm very good. So I brag about myself. That is not what yoga is talking about. So what he says, what our master says, to be a good person for others is one thing, and to be good for oneself is totally different. We have to be good to ourselves. If I'm good to myself, I'll be good for everyone. You see that? We can be good to others through our thought, speech, and action. So, if we can be good to others through our thought, speech, and action, still hiding our anxiety, stress, and suffering, that is not what yoga is talking about. Normally what happens in our country, we go out, we see a person, hey, how are you? I'm fine, thank you. I may not be fine. You see that? Sometimes you also say, I'm fine, but inside I'm having some problem. That is not what yoga is talking about. So to be good to oneself is to free from suffering and always be in peace, happiness, love, and wisdom. We are going slowly and opening up the principles. But how can I remain in peace and happiness, love, and wisdom all the time? Our experience that it is not as if it is not possible, isn't it? So now we come to understand from the Patanjali. Patanjali says, when we reach, you go on practicing yoga. What is the highest step of yoga? What is the highest practice of yoga? The eighth path, eighth limb of yoga. We say Patanjali has explained 8 limbs of yoga. And what is the 8th limb of Patanjali yoga? It is samadhi. Samadhi means the highest meditation, deepest meditation. So you see that when you sit in deep meditation, you are totally away from the world outside. Nothing outside disturbs you. In that state of meditation, you discover your real nature. What is that real nature? That real nature is made of peace, happiness, love, wisdom. That is what we say our essential nature. One is our superficial nature. That we will understand slowly. So understand what do you mean by essential nature? How can I understand? Keep a smile on the face. We are understanding something good. So, what is the essential nature of a sugar? Sweetness. Sweetness. Right? Now, what is the superficial nature of that sugar? You know it, you are a kid. Candy. Candy has a different shape and size and color. It is a superficial nature. Candy means it is sweet. Dessert means it is sweet. Ice cream means it has to be sweet. So the sweetness has to be present. There may be different shape, size, color of candies, dessert, and ice cream. You understand? So the sweetness is present. That sweetness is essential nature. What is the essential nature? It is always present. So now with that example of a sweetness of a sugar, now think of what is our essential nature. What is your essential nature? What is my essential nature? What is the essential nature of your dad, your mom, your sibling, your every human being? What is the essential nature? It is peace. It is happiness. It is love. It is wisdom. We may have different colors, gender, shape, age, but our essential nature is permanent peace, happiness, love, wisdom. Did you get it by an example of a sweetness of a sugar? And what is the outer shape? It may be candy, it may be dessert, it may be ice cream, but they all contain one essential element, common element. What is that? That is sweetness. Similarly, you, me, your parents, your friends, even your enemies, they all are human beings. They all contain essential nature, real nature. Do I know my real nature? I don't know yet. That is why we should practice yoga. You get it? That is why we should practice yoga. So, what is the real definition of yoga? Yoga aims at self discovery. I don't know my real nature. To order to know my real nature, I must practice yoga. But how it fits into the journey of yoga, how do I understand? I told you about candy, ice cream, and dessert. So outer shape. If you remove the sweetness, candy is not a candy. If you remove the sweetness from ice cream does not remain as an ice cream, isn't it? There is no meaning. Why should you eat candy if it is not sweetness? Similarly, real nature is always deeper inside all of us, and outside what we say it is personality. Outside is personality. So the personality is derived from a word persona. Persona means mask. Mask. And that mask is created by wrong notion, thoughts, conditioning, by the society, by our habits. Like now, compare it. Sweetness is inside the candy, and the shape, color, and the weight of that candy is nothing but the personality. It is created by our habit, our ideas, our wrong notion. So that is why we say that we need to discover our real self that is behind the personality. Are you clear?
Mm-hmm.
So, yoga means it means self discovery. It means we should find out our real self. Where the real self is located? Is it located in your house or it is located deep inside you? It is located deep inside me. Huh? Deep inside. Our masters say that it is located deep inside the heart, the center of the heart. So again, understand, sometimes we get confused. When I say heart, it is not the physical heart we say. What we are saying, the heart is the core of our being. It is where our real nature is located. And how to find that? We have to do the highest practice of yoga. What is the highest practice of yoga? That is meditation. Do you see so what is the way how we should start the journey? So first, let us again take one more example. When you sit in a car, when your father is driving or mom is driving the car, can you say your mom is driving the car or car is driving the mom? Your mom is there. Okay. Tell me, car is driving the mom or your mom is driving a car?
She's driving the car.
She is definitely driving a car. And if the car is driving the mom, then what is going to happen?
A crash?
Crash. So why I gave that example? I gave that example. The mind is also like a car. Car is an instrument, so the mind is an instrument. Now apply the same example. If we drive the mind, that mind will take us to inner peace and happiness. And if the mind is driving us, then it will crash. What is that crash means? Anxiety, tension, anger, duality, conflict, laziness. Are you lazy? You see that? So the mind crashes. So you understand it clearly that mom is driving the car. When the mom is driving the car, it means the mom have a total control over the car. The mom is working on the car. And if the car is working on the mom, it will crash. It is natural, we understand. But we do not understand if the mind is working on us, it will crash. You wake up in the morning and your mom says, "Please, my honey, wake up." And you say, "No, I want to sleep." The mind has already crashed. Mom, your dad says, "No, I don't agree with you." And you start becoming angry, the mind has already crashed. The mind is working on you. You are not working on the mind. Do you understand? See that? So, like this, yoga teaches us how to work on the mind. Yoga teaches how to discipline and educate the mind so that this mind, we start working on the mind. And when we start working on the mind, this mind will never crash in our life. Never crash means it will not. I will be in peace and happiness. I will not get into anxiety, reaction, duality, conflict. Even I will not cry. Do you cry? Yeah, all young kids cry, but But if the kids, like you, good kids like you learn that when I cry, when I react, when I become angry, the mind is crashing. So, what should I do? I should discipline and educate the mind. So, when I discipline and educate the mind, I start doing the real practice of yoga. You see that we started with real notion of yoga and the popular notion of yoga. Popular notion is okay. Do the breathing, chant, say namaste, uh, stand on your hands, take your feet on the towards the sky. They are okay. They are popular notion. But the real notion of yoga is self-discovery. And what is self-discovery? Means finding our essential nature. And I gave an example of the essential nature, the sweetness of a sugar. That is my real nature. And what is my superficial nature of a superficial nature of a sweet is candy outside, different color. Same thing, the superficial nature outside uh, is my personality. What that personality is, I may have a different age, gender, color, expertise, eh, with a different thoughts, feeling. That is a part of personality. That is not my real nature. Real nature is hiding behind there. Then we wanted to know that how to start working to find our real nature. That is, don't you want to live in permanent peace, happiness, love, and wisdom all the time? That is the goal of yoga. Then we came to the mind because we have to discipline and educate the mind to do all the practices of yoga to discover our real nature. So then we started understanding about the mind. And I gave an example, your mom or dad driving a car, or if the car is driving them. And if the car is driving them, it will crash, you rightly said. And if the mind is driving me, it will crash. So, how do I understand when the mind crashes my life? Anxiety, tension, laziness, reaction, anger, duality, conflict, upset. So now you can see the importance of yoga in your life. If you want to remain upset, want to remain lazy, want to remain reactive, don't practice. But if you want to learn and discipline and educate the mind so that this mind should not crash, then we have to practice yoga every day, all the day, 24 by 7. That we will understand how to do that 24 by 7. So now understand little more about this mind. Mind is looking outside. Mind is running outside in the world. Why it is running outside in the world? It is searching peace and happiness all the time. That is why it is running outside. I heard a good story. A young guy in search of a sun was running in the direction of the west. But sunrise is in the east. And he was running in the west direction. He was tired, exhausted, in search of the sun. One master of yoga stopped him. He said, "What are you doing?" "I am running to find the sun." So that master pulled his body and changed the direction from the west to the east, and he saw the sun. Here the sun is. You found the sun. Why you are making such an effort? Why you are so much exhausted? Because you are moving in a wrong direction. You are running in a direction where the sun is not. Why I said this? We always want peace and happiness outside in the world. That is a wrong direction of the mind. Instead, the mind is running outside. We have to make it move inside us. When you move the mind that is running outside, you move it inside. You start the journey of yoga. So, journey of yoga begins when you start moving the mind within you. There are thousands of practices where the mind is disciplined, educated to move inside. You see, such a simple practice. Let us close your eyes. You are sitting, your eyes are closed, and mentally, through your mind, you look at the body. Maybe you look at the neck joint. So, mind can look at the neck joint means mind feels the neck joint. When the mind feels the neck joint, you feel the sensation and you also see you are comfortable. Very good. Then you also look at the shoulder joint. You see that you're moving the mind within. We are doing such a very simple practice as a play and the fun. Yoga is just like play and the fun once we understand the real import of yoga. So when you see the shoulder joints through your mind, you find it comfortable, and then see the entire body from the top of the head to the toes. You experience the sensation there. But you are amazed why these sensations are there. I did nothing. You feel the sensation because your mind has come closer to the body. The mind has started looking inside, started moving within. Remain in that state of sensation and being comfortable. Now, through your mind, look at the head and the neck. So, when you look at the head and the neck, mind is looking, not the eyes. When the mind is looking, the head and the neck, you feel the sensation. That is all. Just continue to feel that sensation. No movement. Move the mind on the right arm. Feel the sensation. Move the mind on the left arm. The mind is looking at the left arm from the shoulder to the fingertips and experience sensation. So just continue to enjoy that sensation. They are good. Look at the right leg. Feel the sensation. Look at the left leg. Feel the sensation. Look at the middle portion of the body, the chest and the belly. Just feel the sensation. We are not doing anything. That is the easiest practice. If we understand yoga, that is easiest practice. It is play and have fun. I appreciate you. You are keeping the body steady naturally. Now look at the entire body from the top to the toes. You feel just the sensation. In order to prevent the mind to go out like the young guy who was running in the west direction and exhausted, to prevent ourselves from any exhaustion, we move to the next step. Look at the head and the neck. You feel the sensation and you experience the stillness. Why stillness? You experience the stillness that will prevent the mind to move outside. Move the mind on the right arm. You feel the sensation in the stillness. Move the mind or look mentally at the left arm. Mind is as if it is moving from the left shoulder to the fingertips. And you experience sensation in stillness. Move the mind on the chest and the belly. You feel the sensation and you experience the stillness. Move the mind on the spine. Your mind is looking the spine, not the eyes. How it looks, you feel the sensation and you experience the stillness. Move the mind on the right leg. You feel the sensation and you experience the stillness. We need not to fight with the mind. That is why I said it is discipline and education to the mind. Move the mind on the left leg. Feel the sensation and experience the stillness. Now look at the entire body from the crown of the head to the toes and feel the sensation and experience the stillness. It is natural stillness. You don't force the body to be still. Now look deep inside your heart. In the heart, you find there is a space, there is a darkness, or there is a sense of emptiness. Whatever it is, everything is good. The moment you find the space inside the heart, in your mind, you have to say it mentally, not moving the lips or the tongue. Looking into the space, say to yourself, I am the peace. Shanto ham. After saying I'm the peace, be into that infinite space. That is the way we change the direction of the mind and prevents the mind to crash. Again, look inside the heart, into the space. When you see the space, say to yourself, I'm the peace. Once again. So now you see I am the peace. Looking into the space, the mind is living within. So from inside, you look at the breath. The breath is moving in and out. When from inside the heart, you see the breath. The breath is moving in, coming out, going in, coming out. No change. Do not change the rate and the rhythm of the breath. To help the mind to live within, to deepen the practice, to deepen the experience of calmness and peace and the joy, we will play a trick with the mind. Mind has been tricking us all the life, giving us anxiety and stress and duality and a conflict and anger and the laziness. So now it is our time now to play with the mind. When the breath is going in, drop in one. When the breath comes out, out one. Again it goes in two. Again it comes out two. In three, out three. Go on counting the breath. No change in the rate, in the rhythm of the breath. You are counting the breath in the state of sensation and stillness. Now do nothing. Remain as you are. I will chant. When I recite a Shanti mantra or any mantra, your practice deepens. So simply you have to listen and then we will return from the practice. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Now move the mind on your right hand and feel the change. Move your mind on the left hand. Feel the change. Lift your both the palms. Place it on your eyes. Open the eyes inside. Ask yourself, what do you feel? What is your experience? Bring the hands down. My young friend, what happened? Avery?
My breathing got a lot deeper.
Deeper. Do you feel calmness?
Very calm.
Very calm. You see, I could see your face and eyes are also very calm. This is just the beginning of yoga. This is only not even 1% of what yoga is. So we should understand there are basically three basic principles by which we learn yoga. First principle is know it. I do not know, I know the principles and I understand the principle. Second step is understand it. When the mind says, I do not understand, so let me understand by asking questions so that my mind removes doubt about the principle. Say, take the same example of a candy. You see the color, shape, size of the candy, right? Do you see also the sweetness? You don't see the sweetness until you taste it. Do you see the sweetness in an ice cream? No. You see the different colors, with stick, without stick, in a cup. Do you see that? That is what happens. That is why we should know the principle and we should understand the principle by asking questions if you have doubt about it. So you see, the first step is I do not know, let me know it. Second step is I do not understand, let me understand it. So what should be the third step? I don't experience, so let me practice. We have just done the practice and you experience the calmness. So there are three basic steps of in every. Say, for example, asanas. So I must know what is asana. So Patanjali defines what is asana. He says comfortable and relaxed mind. Comfortable position and relaxed mind is asana. How to practice asana? So Patanjali says in Sanskrit Sutra, he says Prayatna Shaithilyata Ananta Samapatibhyam. It is Sanskrit. It means the mind should remain inside the body and we should neither stretch too much or we should not keep the body too loose in any asanas. If I overstretch, my mind becomes tense. If I loosely hold the asanas, I may fall into sleep, laziness. So laziness should not be there. Tension should not be there. Why? What I'm doing, I'm explaining you three basic steps. I do not know, let me know it. Second step, I do not understand, let me understand it. Now the third step comes, I do not experience, let me practice and experience. See that? Simple, very simple. So every time you go to any teacher of yoga or meditation, you should be ready to ask if you do not understand. So in every knowledge, we ask these questions. So our masters of yoga says there are two types of knowledge. Knowledge of the world outside and the knowledge of yoga. So knowledge of the world outside. Say you start driving the car, so you should learn the skills of driving, you should learn the rules of the road, and then you can drive the car. That is the knowledge of the world outside. But the knowledge of yoga means the moment you start studying yoga, you start studying yourself to become a good person. Again, take another example. When you are learning driving, that has nothing to do with making you a good person. It is a skill set. It is a knowledge. You become a doctor. Doctor is a skill set. Huh? Have you seen there are very good doctors and there are many bad doctors? So it means studying medicine does not make you a good person. Not compulsory. Not compulsory. You may be a good cop, you may be a bad cop. You learn how to trigger the pistol, how to catch a thief, etc. But that does not make you a good person, not a guarantee. So, what are the two types of knowledge? One knowledge that you learn the skills of the world outside. But the moment you start learning yoga, you start studying yourself. You start learning about yourself, your attitude, your behavior, your personality, the way you talk, think, so that you should move to calmness, peace, happiness. Got it? You understand? So, the study of yoga means that I am studying myself. I'm understanding myself. Why I'm understanding myself? In order to become a good person in my life. Good to whom? Good to myself first. When you are good to yourself, you are good to everyone. You see that? I was talking in the morning. A wealthy person is not necessarily a happy person. You may have millions, you have your private jet, you are living in a mansion, you are driving luxury cars. Are they guaranteed to be happy? You may be driving a luxury car and still you are in stress, you are crying. Do you see that? And the happy person who is happy from inside is happy in every situation. Because I'm happy from inside, I have discovered that happiness. That is the nature of yoga. That is what the real yoga is. That I should find that happiness inside. So we go through briefly the 4 sutras of Patanjali, from where I have explained you everything. So the first sutra is, I have given a transliteration, Ath Yoga Anushashanam. So Patanjali says, what is yoga? Yoga is discipline and education of the mind. That is what we have covered. The mind crashes, you work on the mind, or the mind works on you. You feel lazy, the mind is working on you. You are feeling bored listening to me, the mind is working on you. And if you are enjoying, you are working on the mind. So yoga is discipline and education of the mind. That is the first. Second sutra, it says, when you empty the mind completely, then what happens? You remove all the candy stuff. What is left? Sugar, sweetness. Same thing. When you empty the mind of all the thoughts coming from outside, what is going to happen? The real self, your real nature is present there, and you experience permanent peace and happiness, love, and wisdom. So, the highest meditation or mindfulness is there are no contents of in the present in the mind. There are no thoughts. How do you understand that? Do you know about your mind in deep sleep? What do you know? Do you know where the mind is in deep sleep? You don't know. Where your body is, you don't know. So, in deep sleep, when there is no body in the mind, you had a very sound sleep. You wake up in the morning and you say, ah, I had a very sound sleep because mind was absent, body was absent. It does not mean the body and the mind has left you. It was with you. But same thing happens in highest meditation because the mind is totally deeper within. No thoughts, total emptiness. You are aware of the body, but the body is not triggering any reaction. In that state, the third sutra, the knowledge of the reality, is discovered. So, what is those who live in yoga? They are always in peace and happiness, love and wisdom. That is the true notion of yoga. I explained you in the beginning what is the popular notion, what is the real notion of yoga. So I have to continue to work in my life to reach to that state. And those who do not live in yoga, they always have problems and the suffering. Either it is anxiety or reaction or anger or duality or a conflict or laziness or craziness. Why? Because their mind crashes on them at every moment. Dad says, okay, why don't you take a glass of water? I don't take it. So for everything you react. So when we react on everything, it means the mind is working on us. So as long as the mind is working on us, we have to continue working on the mind by the different practices of yoga. Any question now?
Hmm?
So, what I will do,